Hey there, thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to continue that series of going through all the parts in the game, and today we're going to be focusing on the judge rare parts. So let's jump right in. All right, so we'll quickly go over each of the parts, then we'll show you how to get to your Incarnate in the Incarnate selection screen, then we'll jump into the parts. So we're going to talk about the mind part here called Pardon, the body part called Insolence, and the soul part called Forbearance. So to get to your Incarnate, you will go to either the campaign mode or wherever you're trying to battle in for selection, and you're going to look for the judge icon and the blue border. So right here. So we select that. And again, we know it's an all judge part because it's got the kind of gold buttons here, and we know it's a balance affinity through this icon. And the way we get a balance affinity is that every part has to be a different affinity type. So we can see that here. The Pardon has the life affinity, the Insolence has the death affinity, and the Forbearance has the void affinity. So that's how we know it's going to be a balance affinity incarnate. So with that, let's get into each of the skills. So we're actually going to start off with the body part here. It's called Insolence. For 2 turns, gain aura 4. So that's an aura that will reach 4 spaces in any direction. That aura will be allies have plus 25% defense and deal 30% of their defense to attackers. So there we go. We've got it in the main game there, aura 4. So let's go ahead and use it. So you can see the defense goes up. So we have the aura showing here. We have the aura buff showing here now. Plus 25% defense and deal 30% of their defense to attackers. And you can see that my ally Incarnate is within that aura. So again, remember the aura is 4 spaces. So they're within that 4 space range, and they have that aura buff as well. So that's working just great. Let's go ahead and move on to the next skill. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go through the mind part now, and it's called Pardon. Heal a target for 20% of your max HP, then teleport them behind you. Push all enemies in your presence 0 plus 4 spaces. If you go to the card itself, we can look at, there's the force plus presence. The force multiplier right now isn't in the game. That's going to be coming later, so that's why it's currently 0. We have no way of manipulating that. And then the teleport piece is really what it sounds like. You get to teleport right behind the enemy, or right behind this Incarnate. Now, this ability is able to be used on yourself. It is able to be used on ally Incarnates. Just remember that if you are up against this border here, I have no space behind me, so I have no way of actually teleporting back behind me. So if you try to use it on yourself or another ally Incarnate right now, they'll just stay where they're at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just move so I can actually get someone behind me. And remember, if there was someone or something on this space, you actually wouldn't be able to teleport that Incarnate or yourself back a space because it's already occupied. It's also important to note that it's based on your range. So our range right here is 4. So you can see that if we count the spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's where it's going to end. Yeah, there we go. So anything based on your range is where is based on something that you have to be able to see in front of you, unless there's a skill that explicitly says that it's going to attack or do some sort of action behind you. So let's go ahead and use it on our ally. There we go. We get to heal, and we also teleported them behind us. So now there's a couple interesting things that come here, right? So the teleport did teleport them, and remember the teleportation, whenever you teleport in the game, that item or thing that's been teleported always faces the same direction it starts. So our ally Incarnate started this direction and it ended in that direction. The other piece here you saw was that it pushes all enemies in your presence by 0 plus 4 spaces. So if we actually had enemies out here that were in my presence, and remember my presence is 4, they would have been pushed backwards 4 spaces as well. So you saw that this enemy was pushed 1 space and it couldn't go any further because there were no other spaces to go to. So it stopped at that 1 space. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next ability. All right, so we're here in the last ability, and the last ability is going to be on the soul. So it's called Forbearance. Attack target enemy and push them 4 spaces. They are timid for 1 turn. So remember, any skill that's based on that attack, text in the card is going to be based on our range. So our range is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So they are at the edge of our range. If we highlight the Forbearance skill, there it is. They are at that space. So we will go ahead and use it, and then we'll check out what the timid buff is after we use it. They should be, they're going to be pushed 4 spaces. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, the enemy Incarnate should be pushed all the way out here. So it's a great crowd control ability. Gets enemies very far away from you very quickly. So I think this is going to be one of those great support type parts in the game. So go ahead and use it. And there we go. So we saw them get pushed 4 spaces away. Let's go ahead and check out the timid debuff. All right, so we just tried to check what the timid debuff is. It wasn't showing on the Incarnate. I would have expected it to show up in the kind of debuff bar in the game. But we did see that when it was pushed away, it was attack down and presence down. So my guess is that it's probably like a 50% reduction in attack, and the presence is reduced probably by 1. That would be kind of consistent with the other buffs or debuffs in the game. So I will make a note of that and let the developers know that the timid buff isn't showing up on the buff bar. But you can see that it does have kind of an aura here, so it is being applied in the game. We just can't see it on the debuff bar for the enemy. All right, so last thing I wanted to show you for the push-pull mechanisms, we're going to go ahead and use the Forbearance part ability again. And remember, it pushes enemy Incarnates 4 spaces. But I want you to notice that there's a space here that's raised more than 1 above the plane that we're on. So I want to see what happens there and show you guys the end effect. So go ahead and use it. So there you go. So we saw that when we're on that same plane, they're going to get pushed all the way back those 4 spaces. But because we have this line of sight object here or obstruction here, it doesn't allow this Incarnate to be pushed back any further than the 1 space that it was pushed back. So you got to keep that in mind when you're using the push abilities. When you're expecting them to go, let's see, we would have expected if the the obstacle wasn't in the way, we would have expected that Incarnate to go all the way out of here. But because it is, it plays a part of the game. So terrain is a huge thing you have to take into account when you're playing the game, and be aware of your surroundings. Basically, just know that it can go when you push, and it's when you go down spaces, there's no limitation if you keep going down. So that was the last thing I wanted to show you with all these skills. Hey, so just another quick video highlighting all of the parts in the game. We went through the rare parts for the Titan. Hope you found it informative. If you did and you liked the video, there's a like button for a reason. Feel free to press it. If you enjoy the content, go ahead and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And toss some comments down below. Let me know what you think of these videos, and if you need to see anything differently, or if you see that the pace is a little bit too fast or too slow, would love to hear that from you guys. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.